From the new recording lair located deep beneath the Wine and Spirit store in Ephrata, Pennsylvania.
You're listening to the Masonic Lite podcast.
Studio 665 presents Masonic Lite podcast. This show is recorded by Masons, for Masons. It is for entertainment purposes only. And please, no wagering.
This podcast is not endorsed by any Grand Lodge, and the ridiculous ramblings of the hosts are their own. And now, here's your host.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 61. Sorry, Larry. Jason, am I yelling?
61. 61.
So I was doing my radio voice. So hey, everybody. Episode 61. I'm Pete. One of your hosts. I'm here with Jason.
Hello.
Larry. Jack, remotely. Jack?
Yo.
Jack's up in Boston visiting his grandbaby.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Jack.
And our special guest today, we'll get to a longer intro later, it'll be brother TJ Griffin. Say hi, TJ.
Hello.
And we also have Troy and Carlos in the house. So, hey, guys, just, hey.
How's it going?
There you go. That's Troy, and Carlos nodded. So, we're good.
I heard that all the way over here.
So, usually the way we start out the show is we kind of go around the room and talk about what we've done Masonically the past couple of weeks. So, Troy, this short part should be really easy for you. Since you're not a Mason, you don't have anything going on.
Right.
I took notes.
You took notes.
I know, because you always
ahead.
call me first.
All right, go ahead, Jason.
We had Autumn Days, right? Or Autumn Day. It's not plural, it's singular, which is kind of the Masonic Village and Grand Lodge Open House in Elizabethtown. Over the weekend, I attended the Legion of Honor, which is the highest honor that DMLA can confer upon a senior DMLA, which is somebody who's aged out from being a DMLA, or a Mason. What else did I do? I attended Chapter 43, and Larry will tell you more about it, but I saw Larry actually get another degree after 40-some years. He joined an well, I guess
congratulations, Larry.
you joined the York Rite. It's not fair to say you're only a pendant body because you're in a couple, but saw the Mark Master degree, and I think that's about it. Scottish Rite stated meetings in both of my valleys. And that was,
Larry, did you leave that degree with all your parts intact? Oh, we can't talk about that.
No.
All right, we're good. All right.
That's about it.
All right. TJ, have you done anything with Masons or anything? Have you driven past a Masonic building lately, or what's been going on?
Yeah, I drive by Masonic buildings all the time.
There we go.
Not much to report on Masonically recently. I did celebrate one of our brother's birthday, Jose Rios. Had a little get-together for him, so that was a good thing. And I'm just happy to be here and be a part of what's going on.
Well, we thank you. And, so we'll get back to you a little later with the full big, the major interview. Troy, what's going on in your life? Anything exciting?
How much time do we have? That's usually what it comes down to.
Well, we can always edit it out down a minute.
It's usually what I'm not doing. Actually, I think I was talking to Larry about joining Masons, and I think back when my dad was a Mason out of Westchester, Pennsylvania.
Nice.
Which is where we grew up. And I knew as a kid, thinking, when you're at that age where your dad comes in the house and you attack dad's leg and you take the leg ride, and I always wanted to be what he wanted, all the things that he was doing. So I want to be, I want to be a Mason. I want to be an officer in the social club, and because
nice.
he was like the Fred Flintstone, like he's the man about town. Yeah.
Carlos. Oh, I forgot Jack. Well, we'll get back to Jack. Carlos, what do you have? You have anything going on in the past couple of weeks?
I actually got to see a lot of Masonic activity on the Lamberton Lodge webpage. So even though I wasn't physically there, I was connected through the web.
Is this still a look back into the past of 5 years ago when I last edited it?
It was good. It was all. Hey, I'm live.
Jack Harley up in Boston visiting your granddaughter. What's going on with you?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Jack.
Masonically, the big thing for me was being the presiding officer over Larry Maris getting another degree after, 40 years, Larry?
44.
44. So that was very cool. Really proud of my York Rite chapter. We seem to be developing some momentum to bring things back and get some new blood in on the floor. We've got guys that can do the work, and we had 6 candidates for the Mark Master degree at this meeting, and we had 7, but one of them couldn't make it for job reasons. So that's a great testimonial to what's going on in the chapter right now. We're really excited. But that's about it, Masonically speaking, and being able to come up here and visit the kids and the grandbaby is just amazing.
Larry Maris, so tell us about, that's big news. You actually got a degree.
Yes, I did.
Did you get to exemplify it?
Exemplify it? What the hell are you talking
No, he did not.
Okay. That means you were the one chosen to walk around the room.
Oh, no. I think they have a rule that they're not going to allow me to walk around anything or kneel for that matter. There's a reason for that. Thanks, Jack. I appreciate that.
Did you get a chair?
Hey, I got you covered, brother.
Yeah, I'm covered. Totally. No, but I had Goose and Gridiron Thursday morning, went to chapter 43 and got my Mark Master degree. And I'm going to tell you, I was very impressed. It was a beautiful degree. I listened to the oath and obligation unlike anything I've ever listened to in our Blue Lodge. The guy that did the presentation was nothing short of spectacular. He was phenomenal.
I'm going to give him. I'm going to call him out, Larry, right now. That was Jason Martin. He's in our lodge. He's a past master at Ephrata Lodge, and Jason is a senior demolay and a ritual machine. He and Josh Palmer, between the two of them, are the two best ritualists I've come across. But Jason absolutely, for the first time ever conferring that degree, absolutely slammed it.
That's unbelievable. First time. He was spectacular. He really, really was.
So, Larry, have you figured out what your mark's going to be for your Mark?
Yeah,
Mason?
I already did that. I wrote it down on the paper.
It's like a bottle of Malox or something?
He's going to let Jeff Moyer draw it. It's going to be a giant middle finger.
It's actually a pee pill.
It's a Lasix.
And, of course, I attended Autumn Day as well at Masonic Village. So that's pretty much what I did. When
you left, did they try and catch you with a net? Like where you thought you were escaping?
Oh, God, yeah. They're pathetic. But I love the village. It's a fantastic place. It really is. But you're right.
Oh, and Larry volunteered to make a sign and man the booth for Grotto at the next Autumn Day.
I didn't volunteer. You forced me into doing it.
I misunderstood. I thought you were volunteering to do that.
No, you appointed me. I blinked. I blinked or
That's called voluntold. You were
voluntold.
Voluntold. There you go. It's called voluntold.
Voluntold. So my only Masonic thing, I guess, was council. We had for our September meeting, which was nothing fancy, no big thing. We had 35 men in the room, which is insane for council.
Past thrice illustrious master night?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I read the notes.
But yeah, I mean, it was a great meeting. And we voted to upgrade our regalia so I don't have to wear this collar and apron from 1890 anymore that's falling apart and held together with pins. But I still have to wear the nasty hat. My crown as Deputy Illustrious Master it's just vile. It's how dirty it is inside. But
it's got tons of history on it.
Yeah.
And in it.
Oh, well, all right.
I do have one more bit of news.
Oh, sweet.
Well, I thought we were done.
Go ahead. Sweet.
Yeah, I'm gonna, and we can thank our Grand Commander, our brother Dave Gallatley for this.
Sovereign Grand Commander.
David
A. Gallatley.
I'll get the
33rd degree.
Yeah, I'll get the. Thank you for that.
Of the ancient accepted Scottish Rite of the Northern Masonic jurisdiction.
You're supposed to know that. I'm not. But anyway, Jack and everybody else, just to let you know, I'm back in the Scottish Rite fold.
You paid your dues.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Outstanding.
And I did it because of you.
Officially.
And Jason. And Pete.
Officially, he's not yet.
I got tired of hearing the crap from
Somebody's
you guys.
got to push the paperwork through.
All right. So we're
sitting on my desk.
So you have the checks.
I do.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to have a conversation with Brother T.J. Griffin of the Vision. Is it the Vision Project?
Vision Program.
Vision Program. We'll be right back.
At the historic Smithton Inn of Ephrata, Pennsylvania, we're pleased to serve the latest creations from Weathered Vineyard Winery, along with spirits from Thistlefinch Distillery in Lancaster. All to be experienced in the tasting room of a beautifully restored 18th century bed and breakfast. Cigars by D&S Cigar are available for your enjoyment in the courtyard. The historic Smithton Inn is convenient to Lancaster County's most interesting attractions. Just minutes from the Ephrata Cloister and the Green Dragon Farmers Market. And a short drive can get you to charming Lidditz, thriving downtown Lancaster, as well as Hershey, Bird in Hand, and Intercourse. Or Valley Forge and Gettysburg. Whether you're looking for a romantic getaway or an active vacation full of sightseeing and attractions, the historic Smithton Inn will be a welcoming oasis from everyday life, one that you'll want to visit again and again. Stop in and visit at 900 West Main Street in Ephrata, Pennsylvania, or check out our website at historicsmithtoninn.com, or simply call us at 717-733-6094. Just ask for Passmaster Dave.
We're back, and our guest this evening, and I'm saying this evening because in your part of the world it could be any time of the day, is TJ Griffin. And I've known TJ for at least about 3 years now.
4.
You are a Freemason. You're a member of Lamberton Lodge in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and we got to know you then. You served as chaplain of our lodge. But more importantly, too, you're running a program called Vision Program. But before we get there, I want to talk to you about the fact...
Larry wants to talk for 20 minutes and not interview you.
No. I'm making a point here. Anyway.
66% of the battery left, Larry.
Oh, Larry. They rough on you, Larry.
TJ, this is kind of, we're celebrating, unbeknownst to us, Media Month. We had the producers and writers for Lodge 49 on the show from AMC. Last week, a couple weeks ago, we had Matt Blaisdell on, the media director from
We're 10 minutes into the interview. We haven't heard our guest.
I know. We're 65%, Larry.
Tonight, continuing the celebration of Media Month, we have TJ Griffin, who is a star in a motion picture. The title of the movie is Choice. It's the Ron James story, which is going to be released when?
It has been released in limited theaters throughout the country in May.
It's
not available for purchase yet or streaming until 2019 sometime.
2019, okay.
So it should be on Prime or Netflix or something coming soon.
That is awesome, absolutely. You're also a star of stage because you just did a TED Talk on stage in a very elaborate setting. And I just want to say, since, you're a media personality now, I wanted to bring that out before we get into, but tell us about Vision Program.
Wait, do we have to pay him ASCAP or anything? Because I don't know if we can do that. We have no money, TJ. I'm sorry.
You're not union?
I am not a recording artist.
Okay.
We keep begging, but we have no money.
So VISION is an acronym for Values Inspiring Students and Overcoming Negativity. And I founded the program in 2012. I was a troubled youth myself and found myself in and out of the juvenile system, from detention centers to placement centers and all that good stuff. And by the grace of God, my life changed in my mid to late 20s, and I ended up working in the field. At the same time I'm working in the field with juvenile youth, court-adjudicated young men, I'm also working in the music industry, in hip-hop music. And I'm a kid from the inner city, and hip-hop is not just a music, it's a culture. And I didn't really discover that until I made a big change in my life, where I stopped all the negativity and behaviors, and I got a relationship with God. And through that relationship, I wanted to change everything because I felt him changing me. And I'm no longer listening to rap music, no more rap. I'm not dressing that way. I'm not going to talk. My language is going to change. I'm just not going to do this anymore. It's too negative. There's too much crap in the music. And I found myself within 3 months saying, well, the new Eminem's album's out. Maybe if I just buy the clean one. And then I did that. And then the new Jay-Z a few months later, and this and that. And it continued to call me. I would buy cleaner content. And then after, if you know anything about hip-hop, if you buy an Eminem album, you buy the clean one, it's practically an empty album.
Right.
My name, bleep, bleep. That's all it was. So, long story short, I didn't understand why I could not just put it down and stop. And there's some other things that happened as well with the way I dress and certain things. And through research, I found out no, rap is something you do. Hip hop is something you live as part of your culture since you were a little boy. So I had to find a way to properly navigate that with being a mentor to youth and also being somebody productive and want to do well in my community. And I realized that I couldn't just erase this. This is part of who I am. So then I was trying to balance, well, I'm working in the music industry now, and there's a lot of negative content, but I'm also a mentor to youth. How do I do both? And then I realized that I had some success in the music industry with some pretty big, well-named rappers, and I could use that to gain the youth's attention more because now I have credibility with them, third-party validation, something else pointing to the information of the work you put in. So I tried it out. I said, let me show them some videos where I'm in some famous rap stars and see how they respond. And I had their full attention. When you have an at-risk youth, a troubled youth full attention, that's when you can get the message across. So I said, let me start a program that uses hip-hop culture and hip-hop music to grab our at-risk youth's attention, and then through that, I can get a message across.
That's very awesome. So you're 35 right now. How old are you?
I am 39.
Oh, okay.
For a few more days.
I must be looking at an old website.
Your old bio.
Yeah.
Thank you. I got to fix that bio. Now I know.
Okay. So who were your musical influences growing up?
So mostly hip hop. When you grow up in the inner city, you're going to get mostly hip hop music. So it was the first record I heard of rap music. My mom and dad split up, and there was a record player who lived on Ann Street in Lancaster, PA, and my mom had a Sugar Hill Gang record, Rapper's Delight, and I started playing that over and over and over and over. I was just a little boy.
That was considered the first real rap song, right?
Yeah.
Or at least the first popular one.
It's the first one that really blew up and took this thing to the next level. And through that, I was hooked. My first tape was LL Cool J, and I was just hooked. When I got that tape and heard him talking about how bad he was, and I seen the video and the big gold chain and the Kango, and I'm bad and no one's better, I was hooked. So a lot of the early hip hop artists like Rakim and Big Daddy Kane and LL Cool J and all them dudes really were the foundation for me.
Very cool. And then so you progressed career wise. So once you got. So you grew up in the system. You said you were at Barnes Hall, which is the local. I guess it's YIC now.
Now it's YICA. Yep.
Yeah, Youth Intervention Center.
Yep.
Okay. So can you tell us how you ended up there?
Yeah, I was running around being a knucklehead. So was in a street gang, and I was on probation for messing up in school and things like that. And then I got into one of these little street gangs in Lancaster. Some of the guys had jumped me, and I said, I'm going to get them all back one day. This is my mentality at this time. And I was kind of like the leader of my crew, kind of. And the guy who had jumped me, he was the leader of his little crew. I was going to get him back. I was going to get him back. Well, lo and behold, I'm in the juvenile probation office. My mother's in my PO's office, Melody Weidman, never forgot her name, and I'm with my little sister and her friend in the lobby reading a book, and who walks in with his mom? The guy who jumped me, who started it, that I said I was going to get back one day. So we're sitting in the probation, and he starts threatening my life, and at this time, I'm an at-risk youth with not much guidance, not much accountability. I'm acting out on emotion. Not a lot of structure in the household at this time. I kind of did my own thing. So when I got threatened, I did something, and we got into an altercation there, and that's how I ended up in Barnes Hall.
And then did he go too? So then you're roommates?
No, we were in the same cop car together on the way to the. I mean, it's a little more to it, but I'm not going to get into all that. But I got charged because I'm the one that he was just threatening me. I took it to the next level. And then I ended up in a placement called ARC, A-R-C, Alternative Rehabilitation Communities. There's a bunch of facilities throughout Harrisburg area. I was in one of them. And that was it.
So, and when did what was the time in your life where you feel like your life started to come back around to the positive?
I can keep it 100, as they say on here, right?
Yeah.
So basically, I sold drugs for many years. I was selling weed. And by the time my son was born, my girlfriend at the time, we were living together. By the time he was about 3, she had sat me down and said she wanted me to change. She said, I'm tired of people coming in and out the house all the time. You're not here all the time. And why don't you just get a job and, do what men do? And I said, well, you know who you got with. I told you if we ever get married, that I'm going to get married with a white suit, a white fitted hat, some white Nikes, and a blunt in my mouth. And now you want to change and just, no, I'm not working. I have no education. I'm not working for $7 an hour. I'm not doing it. No. And it kind of hurt her a little bit, but she let it go because she could tell I wasn't hearing it. And every few months she would like circle something in a newspaper, like a decent, like Donnelly's hiring, and she'd set it out for me, and it would upset. I was in no parts of it. So now my son's 5 or 6, and something happened in the house where somebody had dropped some stuff in the house, and she had said she was done, that she no longer needed me, and she actually screamed at me and cursed at me, which would never happen before. My ego got in the way, and I said, "Oh, really? Give me a week, and I'll be out of here." Then I sat her down. I said, "Don't put me on child support. I will come bring you money every week. I will pick up my son every weekend. I'm going to be in his life." And she was like, "Well, I don't really even need your child support or any of that. I just need you to go." And I moved out, and I rented a house right across the street from 625 East King Street. You guys know what that building is?
Yes, the castle.
Yeah, it's the castle.
It's the Lancaster County Prison for you non-locals.
And I sold drugs out of a house across the street from the prison. Smart guy.
Just hope those dogs don't catch a whiff as they're walking the perimeter.
I was never into the real hard stuff. It was marijuana. I'm not
hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, that's what it was, right? I'm not trying to minimize it, but that was my thing. What I didn't tell you, gentlemen, is when I was a little boy, my parents separated, but my father worked at Armstrong World Industries. He retired from there. So unlike a lot of my inner city friends, I had a dad that makes some pretty decent money. Armstrong was a good paying job. And because of that, they put me into St. Anthony's on our street in Lancaster. I went to a Catholic school as a kid. So all my friends around me did not have much knowledge on God. God or Christ. Jesus was a greasy picture in the kitchen. Yeah, that's God. That's Jesus. That's his birthday's on Christmas. That's what my friends, that's all they know. Because I went to a Catholic school, I knew a lot. I knew scripture. I knew. So I was the guy that when I would do dirt in the streets, I'm on my knees at home praying at night, praying for forgiveness. Hopefully I didn't hurt nobody. God, forgive me. My friends didn't have that kind of relationship. So I had to tell you that to get to where I'm at. I'm parked in front of the church on Orange Street, if you're familiar with Lancaster. And I meet a guy, a friend of mine, and I sell him some smoke. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, broad daylight. And as I go to put my keys in the car, I look over at the church. Remember, I went to this church from kindergarten to 6th grade, the Catholic school in the church. And I feel like I'm supposed to go in there. It's giving me goosebumps thinking about this. I'm like, no, I'm not. I got weed in the trunk. I got drug money in my pockets, got gold chains. No. I put the key back in the ignition, and I pull it out again. I'm like, I'm supposed to go up in here. It was the first time I ever had an inspired thought. Inspired thought to me is a voice of God to take action. And I said, I'm going to walk up in this church. I walked up in the church, broad daylight. It was, if you know what a Catholic church is, very beautiful, but it's dark, candles lit. Went to the middle of the pew, got on my knees, and then cried for 45 minutes like a baby. And I prayed to God. I said, God, I don't know why you're sparing me. I don't know what I'm supposed to do in life. If you can give me something I can do that will make you happy and I can take care of my family, I'll do it. I said, please don't give me no $7 an hour job. I won't do it. I can't do it. I just give me something. After I prayed and cried for 45 minutes, I got up, lit a candle, wiped the tears off my face, and as I'm walking out to church, I knew I was different. I knew it. I never knew I carried so much weight. I never knew I had this tension until that prayer. And I prayed to God a million times. But this time something happened. And I knew I would never participate in the drug trade again. Got in my car, zoomed right to my girlfriend's house, who's now my wife, pounded on her door. She opened the door quick, because if TJ comes pounding on the door all excited, I could have been raided by the police. I could have hurt somebody. Someone could be after me. She was like, what's going on? Come in. I was like, you gonna believe this? I just went to church. I just talked to Jesus. I'm changed. She's like, this guy's lost his mind.
Hands off his noodle.
He lost his mind. She looked at me like I was crazy. Later on, she told me, when you did that, I didn't believe you. But I knew you believed you. She said, whatever's going on, he believes it. He thinks this is true. And she said, that's all I ever wanted you to do. And she took me back. And a week later, I got a job for $7.25 an hour.
Well, so you beat it.
You beat it. You didn't take 7. You got
That was
7.25.
25 cents more than the deal.
Yeah,
Right.
You're right.
So this experience you've had was the basis for forming Vision Program. You were feeling that other kids experienced what you did. And if you could give them guidance because you've been there, what a motivation that is. So tell me about that.
Yeah, we should take a break and come back and talk about
We
that.
should. Okay.
Take a quick break. We'll let Larry pee. And Larry, you don't have to pee.
No, I don't.
He's excited today.
All right, we'll be right back.
Okay.
Why choose George J. Grove & Sons for your next home improvement project? At George J. Grove & Sons, we've built our reputation on quality and trust for more than 50 years. From planning to materials to installation, George J. Grove promises a home improvement experience second to none. Whether your goal is reducing energy costs, decreasing maintenance, updating curb appeal, or simply increasing the value of your home, the George J. Grove team will recommend and provide solutions that stand the test of time. Call 717-393-0859 for an estimate or visit us at georgejgrove.com.
And we're back here with our guest TJ Griffin. So TJ, tell us, how did you get? You go from being a rap fan. How did you get involved in the music industry? Were you were you professionally, or you just got to meet a lot of guys, or where did you go with that?
So now working at Telstar Marketing, calling people for Comcast, and through that process, I got introduced to network marketing, multi-level marketing. As we know, some people love it, some people hate it. Well, because of the network marketing company I was involved in, I started reading, which was not something in my past. And it was a big push that you should read and personal development and learn things. So through that process, I started learning about entrepreneurship and business, things that my teachers never told me. I have a learning disability. I'm dyslexic. When I study really hard, I get C's. Society has said, well, you got to go to college and do this and do this and do that and perform well to be successful. It wasn't in the book. I wasn't blessed with that stuff. So I thought I had to settle. If I wasn't going to, the only way we thought we can make it big, and sad to say, in my environment where I come from, money is what everybody wants because they never had any. So I don't finance money. Well, society said, you don't have a degree. You're not very smart. When you study hard, you have a learning disability. You're going to have to settle. Go get a good factory job and just cross your fingers. These books told me something different. Robert Kiyosaki, Dale Carnegie, all these authors started teaching me things I never heard before. And I said, wait, you mean the guy with the C's could run a business and hire the kid that got A's to do the stuff he can't do? That made sense to me. So I started reading and learning more about business. Got some ideas. I found, we don't have enough time to go through it, but I found my way in the music industry through MySpace. I started reaching out to some artists. I had this idea. And I didn't even know if the artists were really on MySpace. I didn't know if it was a manager. And I hit a couple of them up, contacted them, and they liked my idea. And before you know it, I have some famous rap stars' cell numbers. And I start generating funds to them, doing features. Unsigned artists in hip-hop love to do a song with a known artist. Then they can take that song and use it in their market and try to plug it. I was a middleman. I came with this idea, middleman. So once I started doing that and when you put money in somebody's pocket after a while, you become important to them. So now these rappers are paying attention. One of the guys comes down and we start doing this work. I'm taking him to people's studios in their homes to record. And by day 2, people were asking if I was his manager. And I'm like, no. By day 3, he was cutting people off and saying, this is my manager, talk to him. That night, at day 3, he said, I need you to be my manager. I said, I don't know nothing about recording artist management. He goes, everything you're doing, the way you're hustling and grinding is management. Then I remembered that there's a place I can go to learn anything I want to learn. It's called The Library in Barnes & Noble. So I went and got every music book I could possibly get, took that information and got him a major record deal, toured all over the country, worked on soundtracks for major films. I'm in Hollywood, California, working with Zack Snyder, the director of
Superman
and the movie 300 and The Watchmen. Yeah. And before you know, I'm in the studio with the remaining members of Queen, doing a rap mashup with my artist in Hollywood. So I actually broke into the music industry off of MySpace with an idea. I would have never even believed I was capable of something like that if I wasn't picking up these books that said, hey, this is what they're not telling you. You have to fail. You have to get your nose. You have to believe and keep going and fail and fail. You have to fail your way to the top. So that's how I found myself in the music industry, and that's how I used that information. Once I didn't know why I was in the music industry. Now I know. Purpose. My purpose is to inspire and motivate at-risk youth or young adults like myself. And I was going through all these motions in order to have something to grab their attention. Now I know why I was in the music industry. It wasn't anything but to have credibility to use it for youth. So that's how I got in.
You also had a background. You formed your own company. Mm-hmm. You did voice recordings for telephone. Yeah. You did it as a business.
Yeah, that's multiple failures. That was a failure.
That was a failure.
The music industry, even though I was with Zack Snyder in Hollywood, that was a failure. Because I had to fail, continue to fail. Yeah. That was one of my first. I met with Score in Lancaster to do that business.
I hope you didn't meet with Larry. He was there for a while.
Were you a Score?
Yeah, I was.
And I remember the gentleman saying, I don't see how this was working. I wouldn't buy them. Another gentleman, I wouldn't buy this. Then he sat in me and kind of killed my dream for a second, sat in me and he said, wait, if you could get Angelina Jolie to answer my phone for me, I would buy it. I said, so you would? And he helped me do my business plan, and I launched that company. We did okay with that company until we had to stop. Until we failed.
Now, at what point did you, so was this your full-time gig, the music business, or did you try to have to transition to, like, hate to say it, a real job?
Yes. So what happened was I was Telstar marketing, and then I did the network marketing company. Actually did really well in that, and had like a $10,000 a month, more money than I've ever seen legally, ever. And I said, I made $10,000 in 1 month. Forget this $7 hour job. My mentor at the time said, no, don't you quit your job because you don't understand how it is to be self-employed. You don't know how it is to have to wake up on your own, go do all the work on your own. You still need someone to tell you what time to get up, show up, you're not ready. I said, Dave, I just made $10,000. I'm ready.
You weren't ready?
I wasn't ready. So within 6 months, I'm back looking for more work. I ended up working with at-risk youth at a place called Mono's House, DARS.
Familiar with it.
And I was a staff member there. So that's when I got into the music industry part-time. I had a full-time gig while I was working full-time in the music industry too. I mean, it wasn't part-time because I get home at 5 o'clock and I'm up to 3 a.m. on the online grinding. When most people come home and grab a beer and watch American Idol, I'm on my laptop just hustling and working and grinding and reading nonstop. So that's when I got in the music industry. And then when that failed, my artist lost excitement. I got tired of the scene. I got so tired of the scene. And I'm like, now what? Multiple failures, though, just more that we failed on. Then I said, okay, I have credibility now with hip hop. Now I can get, and I always have, remember the cartoons when you had a devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other? I always felt that way with my music business because I'm working with mentoring youth at Mono's House, but I'm also pushing and promoting some very negative music. It's not all negative, but there's a lot of it is. So I always felt this battle, like, TJ, what are you doing? Now I know what I was doing. It was a higher power working through me to design this plan. And I said, now I can start the vision program, use hip hop, and go into these organizations, these facilities, and teach them and mentor them. And everyone shut the door on my face. Said, no rap stuff here. That's not good.
Ooh. Really?
Yeah.
When all like the kids there, I guess in the city, all the kids are city kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what they listen to, and that's their motivation.
Yeah, and you'd be surprised. Even the kids that are not the city, they're hip hop kids. Hip hop. So at first it's scary. Most of these organizations, these facilities don't allow you to rap, write, because it's just, if you don't understand it, you know how negative it is. You don't want your kids walking around cursing. And so I get it. So people are like, no rap stuff. No, we really can't do that here. You actually play the music. No. So doors were shut on me for about 6 months until Lancaster Yick Brian Hubbard gave me my first chance. And gave me my first chance, and I said, well, let me take some surveys and get what your staff think of my program, what the kids think. I did some surveys, and he was like, they love this, come back. And then when that one door was open, more doors opened up.
And now you speak all over the United States.
Yes.
On that.
Now I train too now as well.
So have you been able to franchise that? Or are we still working on that?
Who knows? Possibly.
It's coming. Okay.
Possibly.
All right.
So I have a quick question, because now we see programs similar to this, and hip hop and street music being involved in all sorts of youth programs. So just to give us an idea, I mean, what time frame was this? Was this happening when people were saying no hip hop in our programs?
2012.
Wow.
2011. 2012.
Wow, that's pretty recent.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I graduated high school '87, and so I was about the same time frame. Like Run DMC, Beastie Boys got my
yes.
The whatever you call it, like the A-list guys. And then after I got into it a little bit, then I started going back and listening to Big Daddy Kane. I'm like, oh, I dig a little deeper now that I'm kind of got my toe in the water.
Yeah.
But it was still kind of fun then.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the rap got kind of a little gangster and a little bit dark.
Yep.
In the beginning, it was almost comical.
Yep.
I mean, it was Run DMC walking around with their Adidas with no laces, But then they went to shooting cops.
Yeah.
Not Run DMC.
No.
I know what you mean.
No.
That was NWA. That was Ice-T. Ice-T's a friend and mentor of mine as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
And did I see on your bio, Fat Joe? Was that one of them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was Lean Back, wasn't it?
Yeah. I did a lot of work with Joe. The artist I managed, the one that said that's my manager now, is Armageddon, who was Fat Joe's first recruit to his crew, Terror Squad, and he used to write for Joe and produce. He's a platinum producer. So that kind of grandfathered me into that crew as well.
Nice.
So what was your so how did you think about coming to the Masons?
My father was a Mason and was always very interested in it. He was not active, and years later then my stepfather became a Mason, Carlos Gascott. And I went to my dad and I said, I want to do this. And he said, I think you should talk to Carlos. I'm not active in my lodge, and he thought I should talk to Carlos and look at Lamberton. Yeah,
Carlos is a good guy, and Kenny, he works for.
Yeah, Kenny brought him in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I asked Carlos for almost a year and a half before he had even. I'll let you know. And then he told me he wanted to see how consistent I was and how much I really wanted it. So about a year and a half in, he finally said, "Okay, we're going to give you a petition." So I put brothers through this similar thing. I make them continue to ask and see how hungry they really are.
I mean, I think listening to your story in the first part of the show, a lot of Masons would ask, how did this guy become a Mason? I don't mean that funny. Mm-hmm. And I know that you said that you were blessed to not ever do any real hard time or
no felonies,
real trouble. So I understand, from a Masonic background perspective, there wasn't anything there, but did your past come up in the interview process trying to get in? Or do you think that's what that year-long period that your Masonic mentor made you wait was what he was trying to do?
I think Carlos knew that this was years after I left the streets and all that. He knew. He just wanted to make sure he was going to bring someone that was going to be committed and real, I think. And I have a clean record. It was part of why. And I asked that question, why haven't I been in trouble when all my friends have?
Yeah, I think that's a problem that we have in some of our more stuffy lodges is we don't take a realistic look at people's, even if they have something on paper or not.
And we should.
Right. 10, 20 years ago, different life. I mean, look at what you're doing now.
Well, you can look at the stuff on the news right now.
Right.
Not that we won't get, I'll try to be as unpolitical as possible, but they're accusing a Supreme Court justice of doing something inappropriate. And then my question to my wife was, okay, let's just say, forget whether he did it or didn't do it. Let's say if you come out there and you say I did this, at what jobs are now off the table forever and ever and ever? Or at what time do we say, hey, you're a kid, you've grown up, we understand?
Right. I have a friend back home in Erie that I think would make a wonderful Mason, and he does have a felony on his background from doing something violent, and fast forward 20 years from now, he's a drug and alcohol counselor.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's the type of people that can really influence change in youth, because I work with youth and I know when they sit with a clinician or even a PO or whoever, and they're from such different environments, it's hard for them to relate. Like, I can't relate to you.
But you need to have probably a clean record to get those jobs.
Probably. Right. Yes. I mean, yes.
So it weeds out some of the people who actually know what's going on.
Yeah, you're right. And that's the same thing with the fraternity. I mean, I believe we have to be careful. I get that. You have to be extremely careful. But I play that guy, Ron James, in the movie, who has dozens of felonies. He's saving lives all over the country. He's the epitome of what this fraternity represents. Runs a foundation, but he could, his family, nobody would ever give him a shot. But I mean, God forgives us. I mean, we deserve second chances, sometimes third chances. So, yeah.
Well, I think the fraternity is better with you in it. That's just my.
Oh, agreed. I mean, I sit there and I see some of your. So we'll definitely share some links in with the when we post this. But I've caught some of your I guess even Facebook Live or just whatever,
videos.
just some of your little talks. And I even commented on one a couple weeks ago when people are accusing you of making you're thinking your life is so great.
Yeah, you seen that one?
Yeah, but I mean, because everything that bad happens, you're not bitching about it.
Yeah. Someone reached out for some advice. I'm a mentor to a lot of at-risk youth and young adults, and the more information I'm giving him, he's not taking, not receiving it. And then he finally got mad and was like, well, it's easy for you to say. I'm like, you don't understand. You don't understand. I just don't post it all. I just don't talk about it. I have all the same issues, problems, concerns, and battles, but I don't stay in it. I refuse to stay in it. And by the time I want to post something, because there's days I'm ready to do it too. By the time I finish, I'm already moved on.
Once you got done typing it, it's out of yeah.
I believe in the law of attraction. I believe God created the universe it's very powerful. So what I put out, I'm going to get back in. So I refuse to put negative content out.
So at what point? So Carlos, at what point did he approach you about joining?
Yep, he approached, and I told him, "Really, you interested?" I said, "Well, see ya. Let me. I forgot how I said it. Call me in a few weeks, or let me know. Yep. Think about that. This is a big deal." And then he called again a few weeks or months later. I said, "Really?"
I said, "I'm busy right now. Hit me up in a couple of weeks. I'm in the middle of doing something right now." And I said, okay. I just let it roll off, kept it cool. Now I was getting impatient. I said, all right. TJ told me a couple of weeks. It's been like a month and a half. Text, TJ, when you get a chance, can you call me or whatever? He calls, approached me.
I invited you over.
Yeah, invited me over. And I was like, all right, it's finally happening. So we had a talk. Go home and think about it. I was like, it's been over 6 months already. How much more you want me to think about it? But, it's going on a year already that I actually joined the fraternity. So.
Well, that's awesome. And then
super proud of him.
And then Troy, you're not in yet, but I guess you're friends with these guys, and you've been watching this stuff all going on.
Yeah, the whole time.
Oh, hang on.
We gotta put your mic back on.
Oh, good. I'm sorry.
We home? We're home.
Yeah, we're good.
Here we go.
You were making noise over there. I turned it down for a minute.
That's fine. And it's funny what TJ was mentioning, like how we're, either friends or just, acquaintances or general problems. Where it's easy for you, based on the things that he's done and where he's at now. And TJ being one of my best friends, my brother, it's like I can attest to. I always bring this up again about the one time him and I were coming out of church. And we used to, our regular thing used to be to do a coffee run. We'd like, let's go get a cup. That was our code. Let's go get a cup. And the one time I said that to him and we're heading out, he's like, yeah, let's do that. Let's head out. And just head down. We're going to go down the block. I had to stop at the house real quick and then we get out. And we get about 2/3 of the way down to the house and he stops. He says, you know what, bro? He's like, I only got I think I got about 14 cents in my account. And that's like, and it just hit me like, whoa. It's like, the struggle's real. So to see where to see where TJ's at now based on where he was. It's like it wasn't just an overnight thing. It wasn't just he didn't hit the lottery. It wasn't a stroke of luck. He just completely just grinded through to where he's at now. And that's it's one of the most inspirational parts of my life right now is to watch what he's doing.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
So TJ, where do you see, like, one of the things we talk about all the time here on the show is, like my story, I joined 21 years ago and I stuck with it because I'm a glutton for punishment. But like I stuck in the beginning. I'm into it and I really enjoy it. And I finally have found what I love about the craft in the past 5 years.
Yeah.
But it wasn't out there. I couldn't find it. And I eventually had to be part of the group that made it. Like, and it's one of the things like Jack always says, be the change.
Yeah.
So, what can we do as Freemasons? Like, I just think we have an opportunity to be the mentors and leaders for young men.
Yeah.
And, I just, I'm just wondering with your background, if there's any way that we could kind of incorporate these things and make Freemasonry more of like, I don't know.
I know what you're trying to, yeah, like I've thought about that. And I even had an idea 2 years ago where I actually got permission from the lodge to use the lodge for a mentoring session where I was going to bring a bunch of youth in and then a bunch of some brothers and then some non-brothers and just take on like a big brother-sister program, but running out of the lodge. And it didn't work. The guys that wanted to sign up ended up not signing up. So I've thought about that before. And I think there has to be a way. It's in my mind, but it hasn't materialized yet. So there's got to be something we can do as the brothers in the fraternity to actually spend time mentoring just so many. I just did the TED Talk, and the statistics is over 57% of inner city youth are fatherless households. That's over half, and that is huge. There's no positive. There's a lack of positive male role models in so many households.
Yeah, I hate that I live by memes, but I saw like it wasn't a funny meme. It was like this inner city teacher somewhere that had all these kids, and all these kids are wearing ties, and most of these kids didn't have a father figure at home. And I think he called it the gentleman's club, and like he and these other teachers were coaching these young men how to become men.
Yeah,
and I just thought that was so cool.
We should do something. And I can spearhead it when the time is right.
I wonder if we have an opportunity in the youth group, in our youth groups, in our Masonic youth groups. I mean, we're talking about youth, and like DMLA, for example, you can join between 12 and 21. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's an avenue, through DMLA. And
what I visualize it actually being youth. So I'm not sure the Grand Lodge holds youth accountable for the record when you're 21. Your record's clean. Nothing pops up unless you really dig the law. Your juvenile record's not there. So we catch the kids before they're adults and they start to offend and get the charges. We save them from that trouble.
Yeah, I think that DMLA has a lot to offer to youth. I mean, accountability and
yeah. I mean, I have to say I've been pleasantly surprised by by Lamberton. I'm not from Lancaster County. I'm from Chester County. Italian, Catholic. I moved here, and when my buddy was talking to me about the lodge, I was like, oh, I'm going to I'm on medication now to make my skin light, but I'm used to be really dark. And I'm like, oh, these guys are going to see this Italian come in with, Catholic, and they're like, oh, they're not going to like me. They all shook my hand. They like me. Mm-hmm. And then about 2 years later, one of my friends, Miguel, sergeant in the Army, he came to me, and he looks like Denzel Washington. He's not a light-skinned Hispanic guy. He's dark. And no problems. Yeah. Like, right through, they loved him. You're a veteran? Oh, my God. These guys went crazy over him. And now, I see old, young, black, white, Hispanic, gay, straight coming in the lodge. And they're all there for the right reason.
As it should be, yeah.
So, I
was a little uncomfortable at first, too. And Carlos was, he's Spanish, so that was helpful, but I wasn't sure either. And I got love.
I would have never thought that. Every time I saw you, you didn't look uncomfortable.
I was so comfortable. I mean, the first time like, oh.
I thought you were going to say Carlos didn't look Spanish.
No.
His name's Carlos.
But it was just the beginning when I was uncomfortable. Once I got to know the guys and it was amazing. And Ron Carson's like leadership, they hooked me. His commitment, he was so committed. I was like, man, I want to be like this guy one day. And I'm not as active in the lodge as I planned to be. In the beginning, I never missed anything. The first 2 years, never missed nothing, everything. My life changed. My life actually really changed drastically.
Dramatically.
Yeah,
that was really all.
I like that word.
That's a hip hop word.
I like
brother.
that word, dramatically.
Dramatically.
But you're and I wish that I could quote this verbatim. Pete, maybe you can help me. But
are we doing Big Daddy Kane lyrics?
No, yeah,
anything goes.
But you're doing it. I mean, that's the thing. And I'm sitting here and you're talking about how we want to maybe do a program with Lodge, and that's great. But the reality of that is that. For you figured out that you wanted to go do this out in the community on your own. But, that is right in line with what, Masonry teaches. So when I hear somebody like you saying, man, I wish I was more active in Lodge, part of me is like, man, yeah, we'd love to see you at Lodge. But the other part is like, you're doing
more good out there.
You are doing Masonry. You're doing what Masonry teaches you.
And we're blessed here in central and eastern Pennsylvania because we're surrounded by so many A-list Masons, guys that have Masonic resumes out the yazoo, and they could just sit here and show us dues cards for a week and talk about their titles. And Larry and I were saying, no, we need to talk to interesting men who are Masons. They don't need to be the 33rd degree past everything Mason. And so that's why we're so excited that you're doing this and that you're part of us.
Thank you.
And we're proud of you, even if you're not the most active Mason.
Thank you.
Well, and just so you know, when TJ does come to Lodge, he's treated like a freaking celebrity. So, oh my God, here he is. So he might not be there all the time, but when he is there, he's noticed.
And I want to make this clear. One of the most important things that ever happened to me was becoming a Master Mason. And anyone that knows me knows that. Anybody that's interested in coming, it's just one of the most important and powerful things in my life was to become a Mason.
Well,
and I'm so proud of it.
Like Shaquille O'Neal, whenever you're in a photograph, you have your hand definitely displaying that ring on your finger. I've seen so many photographs of you, and that symbol is there.
Very proud.
Fantastic.
Shaq's ring's a little
Shaq does
bigger.
the same thing.
Yeah, a lot
Shaq's
bigger.
Jack's a big guy.
Well, he's also got a lot of sapphires in it.
Bigger diamonds in it too.
We should
take a quick break.
We should take a quick break.
And then we'll come back and you can tell us about your movie because we want to give you some plugs too. We want you to become a big star so that you decline next time we ask you to come in.
Well, let's send you my rider, my request. I only want yellow M&Ms.
Let's listen to Jeff Moyer and maybe some news before we do that, and then we'll be back right back with TJ.
Masonic Lite podcast. Past Master Moyer again. I just finished listening to episode 60. Another great episode. Matt Blaisdell was an outstanding interview, and it really makes me feel good that our fraternity is smart enough to hire young men such as him. When I hear about the Cornerstone Group and read about the path forward, our fraternity we're okay. We're where we need to be right now, and we're going to be fine moving forward. I really enjoyed your broken mic thing with Larry Maris. Didn't hear much out of him for the first 2/3 of the show, but unfortunately, either you fixed his mic or gave him a working mic. Maybe the next show, just keep that out of his hands for the whole show, and then just continue to slowly get him out the door. Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Good news, everyone!
Masonic Lite News. News not fit to print.
I can't hear it.
Oh, well, go ahead. They just played the music.
In Masonic news today, Masonic authorities have issued a general statement to all Grand Lodges that although he's been dead for nearly 200 years, Joseph Surnow will be dug up and his remains will be burnt, mixed with dirt from a landfill in Yonkers, and then scattered over the North Atlantic Ocean, after which his name will be stricken from the examination of a visitor in every lodge. A cernobration is being planned for the Grand Lodge of upstate New York sometime next year. That's the Masonic news. So mote it was.
Bathroom break is over. Put that thing away and let's get back to the show.
Hey, and we're back with Brother TJ. We're all looking. So
who's gonna go?
Who's gonna talk? I guess it's me. So TJ, tell us a little bit more about the Power Project and your movie. Tell us what's going on in your life personally and professionally.
So, was blessed with the opportunity to audition for a film, independent faith-based film called Choices. I was supposed to audition for a small role of a character by the name of Dino, who was a drug dealer. And this movie is based on the true story of Ron James, and there was a drug dealer in his life called Dino. They asked me to go audition. I could not make it to West Virginia for the audition, so I was told I could send in a video. When I did the video, and actually Troy was there that day, him and another friend, Jose Rios, our other brother, Master Mason, was filming my Dino audition. When that was done, I said, let me look, because you could look on their website of everyone that was casting, and I seen the lead role was being casted. And they have the script of what the actors are going to audition with down south. And it was really boring lines. It was like Ron trying to pass a bad check at a clothing store. I was like, why would they use that? Isn't there something more powerful? I looked through the script and seen a scene where Ron James had a crack binge, bad drug binge, and he started seeing demons coming at him, and he tears up a hotel room. I said, maybe I'll just do this for the heck of it and send it in. Never was asked for the lead role to do that. Never was told. It's not even part of the audition. Had them film me doing it, send it in, and I don't know if it was a day later or 2 days later, I get a call from California, and the gentleman says, we just seen your audition. Amazing. We want to offer you the role.
Wow.
I said, well, Dino was easy for me to play because that was me when back in the day, so I could just do this. I'm excited. He goes, no, not Dino. We want you to play the lead, Ron James. He said, are you SAG? Are you affiliated? And I'm like, I don't know what none of that is. How much is it going to cost you to get you? I said, well, how much do y'all got? Like, I don't know. And I got the role. Then I panicked because once I hung up the phone, contracts came in the mail, and I'm like, I have to go.
How do you act? Right.
Yeah. I've acted twice in church, first person stuff. I never was in front of a camera. So now I'm online watching YouTube videos, acting classes and it just terrified me. Only look at the camera with this side. Make sure your head's turned this way. Make sure all this stuff. I'm like, what am I doing? My wife said, do what you did on the audition. God would not have given you the opportunity if you could not handle it. Relax. So then I had to go to West Virginia with a crew of like 100 people with the cast and everybody. And I'm the lead, and I've never acted. And all these people are depending on me to do this film. And it was extremely hardest work I ever did, extremely challenging, but I took it very serious. I studied Ron, and I studied the script, and I studied. And just been some really great feedback from the performance.
So that movie's called Choices.
Choices, the Ron James story.
And it's out in limited release. Mm-hmm. But it'll probably be on wider release on one of the...
Yep. And
like a Netflix or a Prime or Hulu or something.
Yep. 2019 it'll be streaming. You can go to the yourchoicefoundation.com and request it. They may send you some. They may not. You got to purchase it. Money does go back to the foundation. There's screenings around the country. We had 2 screenings in Lancaster at Penn Cinema. They both sold out May 1st and 2nd, I think it was. Didn't know that. And... there's been some church screenings around, so there's more coming, and I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The film was created to inspire hope and change and redemption. That's why the film was made. So it's about Ron did 25 years in prison and 25 years of addiction. Now he's a published author of multiple books, a movie on his life, and he's one of the biggest youth speakers in the country.
And where's Ron, from Baltimore? Or
Ron was born and raised in Philly. He lives in New York. He's local.
Nice.
Very cool.
So that's the movie, and maybe we could do something with the lodge and have a screening.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really neat.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Have a screening, and
I was amazed when you go back, like talking about faith stuff, when the Passion of the Christ came out.
Yeah.
And I'm watching that being shown in churches all over the United States, and I'm like, well, that's weird.
That's funny you say that.
And I'm like, wait a minute. And then didn't Tyler Perry? I don't know if he was church, but like his movies were really underground in the black community. And then all of a sudden he's like this multi-million-dollar.
Yeah.
He was making millions, and mainstream America didn't know who he was.
Yeah, 99% of his films have faith entwined in it. And there's been some churches that have turned down our film due to, there's drug abuse, and there's no profanity. There's no sexual content. But there's drug use, and there's some demons, and and they've turned it down. And I've said some question, but you showed Passion of the Christ. I mean, it doesn't get more viciously, violently raw than that film. But it's scary. Sometimes it's,
Yeah.
But that's what it's for.
No.
That's another topic.
We'll have a Catholic talk later.
Another topic. So that's that, and the Vision program. We still go into different juvenile facilities, detention centers, rehabs, after-school programs, and prisons all over the state and throughout the country now. Another brother, Jose Rios, Master Mason, you guys know, is a music producer, but goes by the name of Flex Sound. He's also joined on with me. He has a program called Dream Loud, where he goes into these same facilities and he teaches audio production, recording, and hip-hop. So now he'll come with a portable recording studio into these juvenile prisons and set up and have to teach the kids how to produce music, record, and possibly even leave with completed music, clean music.
Well, if they need an internship, we can always replace Jason with one of those young men.
Hey, there you go.
So you guys can check it out at thevisionprogram.com or dreamloud.com.
True story. We're always looking for music. So if there's any, I know this may not be the venue that, somebody wants to air their hip hop.
Jose would love to build content for you guys' music.
But we would certainly, use it as transitions.
Absolutely.
And honest to God, if there's some good music coming out of his program, we'd be happy to support that.
He could create it. He just got a bunch of his music placed on some television shows on Bravo.
Oh, wow.
One of our brothers. That's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
So now
one of our brothers from Lodge 43, and he's not active. I think he's actually
you're talking about Joey?
Non-payment of dues. Now, Quentin Jones. So Quentin's a local musical guy, a guitar player, but he's been in a bunch of bands. But he wrote a song that was on Numbers. I guess it was a TV show, and that was recorded by Lee Rocker from the Stray Cats.
Yep.
Cool.
And this guy, he's been a musician for years, a producer, and playing every instrument. But he's like, there's like every week or two, there's a check in my mailbox because of Numbers.
Yeah, publishing, baby.
Yeah.
Publishing's a great thing.
Yeah, so.
Well, we can't send a check to your friend, but we certainly would play. We'd play the music.
He's your brother, so he.
Yeah, all right. There you go.
But
To our brother.
that goes back to like the whole, like if we get into the whole positive talking thing, like niche marketing, like we're in 60. Even with Larry's math, Larry always exaggerates, but we're in over 60 countries.
Wow.
And probably somewhere between 60 and 100,000 listeners.
No, we know 100 listens. Big difference.
Oh, we listens.
Listens. The podcast.
Oh God! So
the stats are really
TJ,
bad.
let's talk about
hard.
the Vision program.
Yeah.
So you can book us. It's not just me. I also book.
But
other
these little
speakers.
niche things are the way to go. I'm just trying to sell them when Brooke Gordon for us.
Yeah, right.
Here's my reality. We have 3 million listeners on 4 planets.
All right, sounds good. So, TJ, where can we find all of your?
What's the Vision's website?
www.thevisionprogram.com. And we do all kinds of programs at different juvenile facilities and also speaking engagements. And it's not just myself. I also book other speakers. Like you can book actor, rapper Ice-T through me and many other speakers as well. But we render these programs for at-risk youth and young adults struggling. And I'm also a training program. So if there's a youth facility that wants some hip-hop culture training to understand the youth that they're dealing with and how to break down barriers by actually entertaining the idea of hip hop and teaching you how to do that and teach you the history of it. I'm also a Pennsylvania certified trainer through the PCB and DDAP, the Department of Drug and Alcohol Programs, but I render it way out of PA, from New York to Washington State, hip-hop trainings at your schools, at your youth care facilities, where the staff get to understand what this music is, and it's also a culture. And so many organizations, from churches to schools to institutions, shut the door on hip-hop because of the negative content. When you shut the door on the hip-hop, you shut the door on the kids. You become old. Oh, you're old, you're irrelevant, you don't get it, you don't understand, and the wall only comes down so much because you're old and you don't get us. If you're open to the idea of entertaining the idea of, what is this? Who's this rapper? And you understand how to do, the wall comes down because now you're not shutting the door on them. Rap is something you do. Hip-hop is something you live. The way we talk, the way we walk, the way we wear our pants, it's not all acceptable when the pants hanging off your butt. I know. It's part of the culture. I tried to change when I found God. I couldn't. It's who I am. It's my DNA. So I teach staff how to actually entertain this and open the door a little bit so the kids can come through. You can break the walls down. So you can get us through training as well, all through the country and other countries. 60-some countries, I'll fly out. Thevisionprogram.com.
I like it. I can hear the passion in your voice. I'm just watching you light up when you're talking about it. Oh, wow. So thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you guys
and
for having me.
And you're close. You can pop in whenever you want.
Thank you guys for having me.
Especially if you bring something down from upstairs.
I'm honored and humbled to be here. And we will reach out to Mr. Jose Rios. He's a listener, too.
That'd be wonderful.
Is he?
And let him produce some music for you guys.
Awesome.
He can produce all the music if he wants.
That'd be awesome.
He would love it. And he doesn't just do rap. He does everything, so...
Oh, that's great.
So what we're going to do, we'll go... Well, Jason, you have anything going on in the next week or two?
Yeah, I do. Hang on. Let me get to my notes, Pete. See, I took notes, and it's going to sound like I'm reading right off my notes. Coming up, this show would have already aired, but there is the Battlefield Low Veil degree. I'll be going to that in Gettysburg on Wednesday. And I'll be conferring a first degree, I think, next week for Lamberton, not for 43. And later in October, I think I'm conferring a few for 43. And Blood Drive. We got the Blood Drive coming up locally. And Academy of Masonic Knowledge, which I believe is on October 27th.
27th, yeah.
And a couple good speakers there. And you can find all that on our website and on the Pennsylvania Grand Lodge website. And that's about it.
And we share stuff on Facebook once in a while, too.
We do. Occasionally, we do that as well, yeah.
TJ, and not just Masonically, what do you have? Anything coming up, any engagements next couple weeks?
This Saturday, I am speaking at the Success Summit at Lancaster Marriott and Convention Center, downtown Lancaster. There's an event going on. Some local entrepreneurs and very successful as well are going to just speak on how to overcome challenges, how to face your fear, set goals, and the law of attraction, and just being successful, whether it's in business or just in life. That is this Saturday, the 29th, at the Lancaster Hostin Marriott.
Very cool. Troy, do you have that petition filled out yet?
He has to ask.
Oh, okay.
I'm old school.
He's saying he's old school. He's 10 years below me. Not some damn old school.
They know what I'm talking about. You don't know what I'm talking about. If he never asked, he's not interested.
Yeah, back when I joined, it was like ask one to be one. Send me an email. I'll and $50.
Let's see.
Yeah, you can join Lodge 49. It'll be
Carlos,
$2,000.
If you can find a microphone there, here's Larry. He's Larry's.
What did you tell me before we got here about the lodge? What this brotherhood has done for you? You should share that quick.
Well, I've been through a rough patch in my life, with my family and stuff. And right before we got here, I told TJ how grateful I am with the brothers and the lodge, and the little things like coffee in the morning and meeting for pizza, because it's been really hard for me. Like, it's either I met TJ when I did, and I asked him the right questions, and
he had lost his family.
Yeah,
right when he became a Mason.
Being around the brothers has helped me a lot to become stronger and
keep you busy.
Keep me busy. My mind's out of that negativity, and I'm good. I'm grateful for my brothers. And
he told me the fraternity actually saved my life.
Yeah, they did.
Wow, that's awesome.
So I'm happy. That's why I'm like participating a lot. And every time Brother Larry asks me to do something at the lodge, I'm for it. And every Saturday I'm forward. I'm looking forward to getting that coffee with my brother. So
I would too if it wasn't so early.
That's the whole point. Coffee early in the morning.
Goose in the gridiron. It's too late in the day. Coffee, it's too early. Coffee is literally half an hour before Goose and Gridiron. It's 8:30 at Mean Cup on Harrisburg Pike.
Saturday morning, though.
Saturday morning. Now, everybody runs a little bit slow on Saturday, so it's more like 8:45.
I'm always there warming up the seats for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you just never know. Sometimes the brotherhood is what it's doing for people.
Right.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
You know, I heard on another podcast, another Masonic podcast, I think it was Ex Oriente, and I'm going to get the quote wrong, but there was something that they said that I thought was pretty powerful, and they were kind of talking about the elevator pitch, like what does Freemasonry actually do? You know, because you ask 100 Masons and you'll have 1,000 different.
A system of morals veiled in allegory, illustrated by symbols.
Right, right.
What?
Well, yeah, everybody has their own opinion, and one of them said that Freemasonry teaches men to become emotionally close, right, and have compassion and affection for each other in a masculine, non-judging environment. And I was like, man, that is
really good.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And I may
trademark that.
Well, they said it on Ex Oriente, and I probably butchered it a little bit, but it's like, man, that is, and I think that's exactly what you're speaking to, Carlos. I mean, these guys in the lodge are some of my closest. Well, they're family. Brother Ken Hudson, is one of my dearest, closest friends who, if it wasn't for Masonry, we would have never met. In any event, should we go home?
Larry, you have anything else going
on? Tall Cedars tomorrow.
Tall Cedars tomorrow night.
Breakfast.
Yeah.
Also, tomorrow night, Wednesday, the Rudyard Kipling dinner committee meeting, which will benefit Masonic Lite podcast.
We'll talk more about that on a future episode.
Yeah, we will.
Got to get the over-under on it. Well, Pete's helping. It might happen.
Yeah.
Oh, come on now. I've got the best committee ever, so don't give me any grief.
So tomorrow night, we have Tall Cedars of Lebanon. Meetings are open. Just got to let me know. So Master Masons are allowed to attend. We encourage you to join. Non-Masons are allowed to attend most of our meetings. So tomorrow night, we're having a farmer's night. So we're encouraging everybody to dress up like a farmer. I don't know what I'm going to... I'm from Kennett Square. I guess I'll wear a bump hat with a light on it because I'm a mushroom farmer.
Just get a Sharpie and black out a tooth and get a straw hat.
Yeah, so
that's terrible. If you're a farmer,
just like
listening,
all my friends from Jalisco.
Larry said that.
Larry, take us out of here.
All right, everybody. Chicken music, please. Special thanks to Effort Lodge 665 for making this facility available. We thank the brothers there every time we think about it, but thank you guys. I'm losing my voice. I guess the drink wasn't strong enough. Anyway,
Larry's got a voice for television.
Yeah, I have a voice problem. Also, thanks to
Brother TJ Griffin, our guest. Thank you, Brother Troy, or soon to be Brother Troy, and Brother Carlos.
Our news director Jack Harley, coming to us from Boston. And our wonderful producer, Jason Lewis.
Oh, thank you.
Always for a job well done. It's a masterpiece. And to all of our guests and the people out there listening to us, this is Larry Maris. Good night. Thanks for listening.
This is Pete Ruggieri.
Jason Lewis.
TJ Griffin.
Troy Richardson.
Oh, that's okay. That sounds funny.
Carlos.
Goodbye, everybody. Good night.
You've been listening to the Masonic Lite podcast with brothers Pete Ruggieri, Larry Maris, Jason Lewis, Jack Harley, and me, your dulcet-toned announcer, Brian Hill. Listen to all our episodes on our website, www.masoniclite.com, or via your favorite podcasting service.